Welcome to Living the Life You Love with Bonnie and Greg Dixon. We share what makes life juicy for us, including food, dance, music, writing, health and wellness, travel, and much, much more. We aim to inspire you to live a life you love. So happy Friday, everyone. Bonnie and Greg Dixon here for Living the Life You Love. And today I'm going to change it a little bit. We're going to talk about celebrating the life you love, which may be celebrating your parents or your siblings or grandparents or friends or somebody in your family, somebody you really respect and love, and maybe somebody's not even alive still. So Bonnie and I spent some time doing what we called story productions for Tell Your Story Productions. And we also spent some time traveling around the Western United States interviewing people, doing video interviews with people in the natural health movement. And many of the people we interviewed are no longer with us. And some of the ones we wanted to interview passed away before we could get to them. So it's really important to get your family stories or even your own story, capture that. Maybe you can lead the narrative. What story do you want to leave behind when you go? So Bonnie, you want to talk a bit about how important this is to you?
It truly is important. Family can be quite challenging sometimes. And we often will wait or not do something with a family member. But if we really reach down deep and just ask a story, like my mother and my father, I reached out to both of them. And they both were quite anxious about doing their story. But what I tell you is once they're gone, you can't get any of those memories back of what they might share with you. It might be a detail about their childhood. It might be a detail about their work life or their military life. And when you dig deep, and it can dig deep onto a certain topic, it's so cathartic for people to share their story. And it's a really beautiful thing to share and document. I really loved doing that. And then in the natural products industry, there were some just really amazing people. Why did they start a company? What did they do? Starting colleges. It was just amazing. And I would encourage everyone to stop and think, who would you love to hear their story over and over again in future when they might not be here very much longer?
Yeah.
And we say, well, we'll get the round to it.
Yeah.
Well, there was a wonderful man, Michael Mooney, who I'd worked with many years ago, and he was on our tick list to make sure we called him. Unfortunately, he passed away before we could get to him and get his story. I mean, he was documented quite a bit, but it was just a sadness that we didn't get there in time. So don't do the round to it.
Yeah.
Do it now. And again, you don't have to have a life story. Greg has a hysterically funny story about his uncle, how he told his story. He had a long, wonderful life, almost 100, and he told it in 6 minutes.
Yeah, no, because I helped him out with his farm work. He was going in for an operation, and I'm probably the only cousin who stayed with this Uncle Joe because he was kind of the black sheep of the family. And anyway, he would talk and talk and talk. He'd tell stories about World War II and things. And, I'd wake up, I'd be face down, drooling on the table, and he'd still be talking. He didn't even need an audience. And then finally one day I did get a video camera out there, and I got it, and he said, "Oh, I was born, blah, 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 and they got married, and then we liberated Holland." Okay, and he did the whole thing in 6 minutes, holy smoly. But after he passed, his daughter sent me a bunch of photos of my parents and my older brother when he was 1 and things like that. So it's really, really valuable thing to do. And we've done quite a few. I've done quite a few things which have included publishing a book, doing video interviews, video stories. I've done a lot of like photo montages that people have sent with information, from birth to death kind of thing, and that played at Celebration of Life.
Greg did a musical story. A wonderful friend of his just only wanted her musical story
from age 5 to 80 or something like that.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And she packaged it up. We put the little multimedia production on little USB keys in the shape of a piano because she loved wine and piano, and put it into a nice box to give to her grandchildren. Each grandchild has this as a memorial.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still alive. I should call her today, actually. And but it's and some have been. We've created websites for people which has their photos and their maybe a little bit of video, maybe some audio. We did one of a woman, and she had wrote her memoir, and her daughter read it, and we've got the audio on the website.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're interested in doing this, I've got in the show notes, I got a link to an article on sharedvisions.com, family stories on how to do this yourself. And if you want some help, we can help assembling it and putting it together.
Yeah, I think that this is one of the fun things. People say, "Oh, I don't even have a story to tell." Well, we had someone tell us that. And finally, we just went down to sit with him with a cup of coffee. And he didn't want to be videoed, but boy, did he share a story.
Oh, yeah.
And luckily, his daughter had saved all the photos that he was going to chuck out. She had saved them.
Yeah.
So she pulled the photos, and Greg and I just sat and recorded him. It didn't bother him because we were with a little iPhone. We were just recording him. He told his story.
Yeah, we didn't even bring the video camera in because we knew he was shy. We brought a nice microphone to attach to the phone, and then he just talked for about 70 minutes, I think. And we put it together. And this is actually one of the reasons I'm now geared up for formatting and publishing books. Is we were thinking of doing this would be like a website presentation, and his daughter said on a Monday, says, "Well, it's his birthday on Friday. I was hoping to give him a book." And a book, okay. Anyway, so I had all the stuff transcribed, and I had the photos and stuff, and I put together something, basically a PDF book for him. If that were to happen now, I could have had a really nice book available and ready for people to
Another time is we interviewed and went to a birthday party for a woman who was celebrating her birthday, and it was all documented with pictures and interviews from people. And the year later, unfortunately, my dear friend passed, and we turned all that information into an amazing memorial.
Yeah, a celebration of life memorial. Yes. So we just her daughter contacted us and me, and I said, "Well, let's make it a change." So it wasn't unexpected, because the reason she had the birthday party is because she knew she was probably not going to live that long.
So celebrating life is amazing. Celebrating your own life.
Yeah. That, again, if you want to do your own life story and put it down, it can be a lot of fun. This week I'm offering a special deal on a storytelling website, and for also authors and speakers and things, but it's just for a really reasonable rate. But it's really, the thing is to get it down. I've got a few things. I've got, with my family, I've got two much older siblings, 11 and 13 years older than I am, and then a sister that's 2 years younger than I am. And we all have different experiences of our parents, and things that we didn't know, like the older ones didn't know about my mother's life when we were, growing up, and vice versa. And I don't know if I was dreaming this or whatever, is my mother told me that my father, who was older than she was, spent time riding the rails during the Canadian, the Great Depression. And so none of my other siblings have heard that. And so I might have to write a novel and make that up at some point. But it's just great. We go to watch music at the Legion sometimes, and a few people have just sort of said, "Oh, see that person over there clearing glasses? Like she's a decorated war hero." You don't even know. People don't even know what people have done. And if you get people, your relatives, to tell stories, doesn't have to be hard. If you had a family gathering, just get people talking and put the phone down and put it on voice memo and record it and get those stories. And then we can do something with it later.
Yeah. Well, celebrate today, celebrate with each other, celebrate with your family, your friends, and just whatever you do, celebrate.
And we have an important message for you to go home with. It says, life is short. Eat dessert first.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite.
So anyway, we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining the show today. Before you go, Bonnie and I have a special invitation for you to live a life you love. Are you looking for better health and wellness for yourself and others? Are you looking for a new opportunity for success? We have been LifeWave brand ambassadors for many years. We've experienced amazing wellness results for ourselves and seen amazing results in others using the LifeWave products. LifeWave is a highly trusted company with top worldwide growth according to Home-Based Business. Perfect as a side gig or main mission with many success stories. LifeWave can be a path to living a life you love. Learn more at healthywealthycamper.com/Bonnie or reach out to us. See you soon. Bonnie and Greg Dixon.